Well, I know Patricia Scotland rather well, having worked with her for many years on the Millennium Commission. And I like and admire her, and that makes it particularly painful for me to say what I'm now going to say. I disagree with the point that was made by Digby and Harriet that Patricia should be treated just like anyone else. I disagree with Digby that she is the equivalent of a businessman. It's perfectly true that if a businessman had done something of this sort, he would pay the fine, he would not lose his job. But Patricia is not like everybody else, and she is not a businessman. She is the architect of this law. And she steered it through the parliamentary process, responsible for its design, and she is a law officer of the Crown. And in those circumstances, in my view, she would have done herself immense goodwill, and I wish she had, by leaving, not because we think this is a terribly criminal sort of activity, but because there has been a mistake and someone has to be accountable for it. And I think, I'm sad to say it, but I think Patricia is accountable. She should have gone.
We're talking about border controls. We should really be looking at why they want to come to this country. And the reason is because we have a benefit system that gives everything to them without them having to give anything back. And until you fix that, you're not going to fix the immigration problem.
OK, no, David, hold on. Michael Heseltine, do you agree with that point?
Is that me?
Yes? Do you agree with him?
No. That is often said, but the statistics don't support it. I'm going to come on to the substantive question. Most of these people want to come here because they think they'll get jobs. And most of them do get jobs, and they do the sort of work that the indigenous population doesn't want to do.
Because there are benefits.
No, they're not on benefits. They're not on benefits.
No, my point is we have 6 million British people on benefits. We're creating the whole in the labour market. They're sucked in.
That's a different issue, yeah. But just on that narrow point. Now, let's go back to the substantive issue. Of course, the French will right to close the camp. Certainly it won't stop the flow, because the flow has to be dealt with by effective border controls, and we do not have sufficiently rigid and effective border controls. They should be improved, and I believe that the next Conservative government will do that. But I think you've got to start with another issue. David said these people should be given the chance to fill in the forms and make applications. None of them would get in. The fact of the matter is, these are not persecuted people. These are economic migrants who want to get into a very wealthy society.
How do you know they all are?
Well, because,
how do you know they all are? Some of the people that I met were not economic migrants, Michael. They were genuine asylum seekers.
I'm sorry, I have seen the people in these camps widely
So how
coverage.
do you know their background circumstances? How do you know they're all economic migrants?
Because you can tell.
You cannot tell by looking at them. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
OK, let us concede that they should fill in a form. But why should they fill in a form in France when the legitimate way to get into this country is to fill in a form where you're being persecuted in the British High Commission or the British Embassy? Now, the fact
in the middle of Helmand Province?
The fact is we're meant to be defending people there. Are you telling me seriously, with the British troops, the NATO troops all over Afghanistan, that there is persecution going on?
There is a lot of persecution going on, yes.
There is an incredible army of Western people defending the liberties such as they are in Afghanistan. But the important point is, if you were in one of these other countries and you wanted to come to this country and you complied with the law, you would fill in your form where the persecution is alleged to be taking place.
Right. That's not always possible.
What these people in the camps are doing is jumping the queue, and that is absolutely an unacceptable standard by which people should be allowed into this country. The fact of the matter is, these are not persecuted people. These are economic migrants who want to get into a very wealthy society.
How do you know they all are?
Well, because,
how do you know they all are? Some of the people that I met were not economic migrants, Michael. They were genuine asylum seekers.
I'm sorry, I have seen the people in these camps widely
So how
coverage.
do you know their background circumstances? How do you know they're all economic migrants?
Because you can tell.
You cannot tell by looking at them.
OK,
it's a ridiculous thing to say.